What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 16 of the Cowboys TV podcast. We are back. We had a week off last week. I had the flu. I wasn't doing too well, but we're back. Round 14, we obviously is upon us. We take on the Melbourne Storm this weekend. And as always, we are joined by Callan's Calling. Hello, Callan.
Hi, Nick. How you going, mate?
Mate, I'm well. I'm obviously we're both heading down to Melbourne tomorrow. I've never been to Melbourne, so I'm looking forward to it. But how are you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Big few days, 10-hour days at work. I don't know if I got a few of me mates said they're going to tune in. So,
Oh, did they?
if you're watching, welcome, boys.
Shout out to all the guys from your work.
From the What Pack job, the fine
Ah.
line boys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hello to the chat as always. The per usual, the live chat. Cooper, Jason, Luke. Who else we got in the chat? Rishi, Josh, everyone else that's watching. Hope you're all doing well. Episode 16. We should be at 17, but last week was a bit of a disaster. We had State of Origin on Wednesday night. Then we were going to do it on Thursday, and then I come up with the freaking flu for about a day and a half, which was not nice. So apologies to everyone that was asking about it. I did put out an Instagram story. I hope you guys were able to see that. But yeah, quickly, if you're new around here, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out Callan's channel as well. Check out Callan's Calling. The link to his channel was in the description box down below. Callan, I believe last week you were playing a bit of rugby league, mate.
Yeah, mate. Put the boots on. Had a bit of a run around. Tried to get a bit fancy. I was filming, and there was too many of us on the sideline because I wanted to film a bit of the game.
Yeah.
So I give me phone to another bloke there, and so I run out and I'm trying to put a bit of a play on, and mate, the body just did not want to cooperate through a terrible pass. Todd Payton would have ditched me, mate. I don't even think I'd make Q Cup, mate. Then I got in dummy half and threw a few good passes. So I'm going to show some of the footage to Reece Robson and say, mate, you better watch out because I'm coming for your spot. But no, it was a lot of fun. Over 35, the FNQ Masters, the Mariba boys. A bit of a shout out for them. We got a game in Mariba this month, and we got a game in Townsville in September. So yeah, I got the bug back, and so yeah, I'll try and get a bit fit and might enjoy it a bit more.
Well, we are looking for a hooker next year, so if the Cowboys want to reach out to Callan and offer him a contract,
yeah, you can be my manager, mate.
I'll do it. I will do it. I'll be the play manager, and I'll make sure you get all the money in the world.
Water boy, I'd be happy with.
Water boy. Yeah, no, I hope everyone's doing well. Appreciate everyone for tuning in as always. Hello to everyone that just came in as well. Lismore Garbo, Michael Driver, everyone else that's watching. Yeah, so obviously on Friday night, we take on the Melbourne Storm down there in Melbourne. We'll get to the Storm in a little bit when we get to the predictions and whatever. But let's talk about the previous game that just happened, Callan. So Saturday night up in Townsville there, round number 13. The Cowboys, they hold on to beat the Tigers 32-28. We looked so comfortable. We looked so dominant in this game for a very long time. And then everyone just switched off in the last 15 minutes. And like 18 minutes, really. And the Tigers came back and we just held on there at the end.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, to be honest. Like we were looking like world beaters and looked untouchable. I thought, oh, this is awesome, and then seemed to fall into those old traits of not manning up. Like it seemed like the communication wasn't there. There was no trust. Blokes coming in, leaving the outside. Yeah, I thought we were going to blow it the way that we finished that game off. Very lucky in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I wasn't worried that we were going to lose the game until probably Dream Buller scored with about 5 minutes to go, and it was a 4-point game. That's the only part of the game where I was like, we could generally lose this. Like, at 32-18, 32-24, I was fairly confident we're still going to win the game. But, gee whiz, when Dream Buller scored, I'm like, oh, God, if we lose this, if we choke a 32-6 lead at home against the Tigers, who, look, the Tigers are not a great team. They're not even a top 8 team this year. They're probably a team that'll finish between 14th and 12th, to be honest. And, like, on their day, they seem to go all right, but we had to win on the weekend. It was an important game, and I'm glad we won.
Well, I don't like bringing it up, but we did put 74 on them a few weeks later. But even when they were at the bottom and I think we were in the top 8, they put 60 points on us.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
So I'll never underestimate them. They were very any team on their day, mate. If you switch off, there's too much talent out there. They might not be all getting it together all the time. But you switch off on any side and think you can and that's like running those 3 tries in. And I thought if they keep at this rate, running easy tries in like that, I was very, very worried.
Well, you're right. There's too much talent in the game at the moment for teams to be letting this sort of shit happen. I remember about 4 or 5 weeks ago, Melbourne Storm played the Tigers on a Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. And going into that game, I thought, this is going to be a really good game of footy. Could be a smoky for game of the round. And the Storm won, I think it was like 64-0 or something. It was ridiculous. It was a big score. So it's crazy how much momentum can change a game, because at 32-6, the Cowboys put the kill in the rack. Robson went off with that hamstring complaint. McIntyre was off, injured early. Everyone was just, we all thought the game was over. But the Tigers came back with a couple of late tries and they just didn't give up. So it is annoying that we let them come back and score them points, but considering how important the win was to get back to 5-5 on the ladder and get up to 6 on the ladder, I'm just glad we got the 2 points.
Yeah, and that's what really worries me. Being a game with such importance where we are sitting, because another loss is going to be crucial to our season. We just can't.
If we had lost that game on the weekend, I would have been very worried about this weekend.
Yeah, well, like to me, the 32-28 is not convincing enough.
No,
to be not worried going down there to one of the heavyweights of even though they haven't been playing that great late, the last couple of weeks, but it's like I said, any team on their day and a team with that much talent in their home ground, it's going to be the conditions, like you said, might not rain, but the weather, I think it's like 20, 40, 60 every day. I think today was when I looked on the weather. Tomorrow is chance of rain. Friday's a chance of rain, and Saturday's a chance of rain.
Is this for Melbourne?
Yeah.
Well, let me have a look.
I think they've got a high of like 15 or 16 degrees with a low of like 6 or 7 or something stupid. So it's not going to be.
I'm just on the BOM on Melbourne. So again, in Melbourne today, it was just cloudy. It wasn't really, raining at all. Tomorrow, it'll be 15 degrees in Melbourne. There's only a 10% chance of rain, so pretty much fuck all, really. And Friday, the showers will be increasing, but there's only going to be 0 to 4 millimeters of rain. So not much at all. Not much at all. Honestly, the rain is not that bad, to be honest. At Magic Round, we copped a lot of shit rain up there when we were there for Magic Round. This is less than Magic Round, so it won't be that bad.
Yeah, what was the temperature?
14 degrees at most.
That's the high.
Yeah, so they reckon 8 degrees minimum, 14 degrees max. So say 11, 12 degrees. It'll be cold, no doubt. It'll be cold. But Friday's the day.
Not going to be good conditions, whether it rains or it doesn't. Not for North Queenslanders, mate. I'm a North Queenslander.
It's going to be a little bit cool down there.
We're going to be well out of our comfort zone.
On Saturday is when they reckon there'll be a lot more rain. So 0 to 4 millimeters is fuck all, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it blows over. But like you said, it's not North Queensland weather, that's for sure. But
last time I was down there, it was blowing its head off. It was a little bit rainy. Like, it didn't rain on the game, but the few days that we were down there, mate, and it was freezing cold.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Far out. Well, back to the game. Obviously, 2 points is 2 points. We had to get it done, and we did. But some of the players were outstanding on the weekend. We had some guys out there who were phenomenal, and I got to give a massive rap to John Bateman. John Bateman on the weekend, that was probably his best game in a Cowboys jersey. He scored the first try, which I found hilarious because of the whole feud between John Bateman and the Tigers and the way he left and the Benji Marshall thing. And then I think Shane Richardson was talking about when he left, and John Bateman didn't want to do the crocodile roll thing that they were, arguing about some training stuff, and Bateman was absolutely fired up for this game, and he took it personally. And I don't know about you, Callum, but I thought Bateman was outstanding on Saturday night.
Yeah, no, I thought he played good.
No, he was outstanding. Obviously, we had a lot of other players who were great. Scott Drinkwater, Tom Dearden, Jeremiah Nanai had a bloody great game, backing up from State of Origin. Even Jackson Purdue, I know he's still finding his feet in the halves. That was his second game with Tom Dearden, but he looked a lot more comfortable than what he did against Manly. So good to see Purdue having a solid game in the halves there. And I want to get your thoughts on the debut of Jackson Paulo. He had a great game.
Yeah, I thought he played good.
Now, he surprised me a little bit, Jackson Paulo, because I've been very hesitant of him getting a game, and because of his recent form at Manly and at Souths, and he obviously didn't go too well at those two clubs. But his debut, he was solid as. He had 285 run meters. That's outstanding for a debut. Scored a nice try as well. Defensively, probably needs to fix up a few things, but I think the whole back line needs to fix up defensive stuff. But who else do you reckon had a great game on Saturday?
Other than the players you've just mentioned, or
Who else do you reckon?
well, like you said, the Dearden and Drinky were standouts.
Oh yeah,
Like in the start of the game, Jordan McLean, I thought he was making good meters.
Yeah, no, he had a good game, McLean. 121 run meters, only played 48 minutes, so he was good. I've got to say, I thought Griffin, Neem, and Cohen Hess off the bench together, they brought a lot of impact with them. Neem had 144 meters. Hess had 134. They were both outstanding.
Hey, Bruce.
I think the dog agrees.
Hey.
I think the dog agrees with Cohen Hess having a good game. That's
Wow. He doesn't like people walking past our place. I think they might have a Storm jersey on.
Might have a Storm jersey on. Oh God. But I've got to ask you as well. Reece Robson, he went off with a hamstring injury, and he's actually in a lot of doubt for Friday night. Do you think he'll play Friday with that hamstring complaint?
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't have a clue. But
wouldn't have a clue.
If for me, if they're in any doubt, a bloke like him, we're going to be. If we are lucky enough to make the 8, we certainly don't want him, aggravating an injury if it's only minor. Like, I wouldn't risk it if I was, but no good me saying if I was Todd Payton, because there's not much Todd Payton does that I'd do. I'd put Clifford on in for him.
At to dummy half.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be interesting to see. I've never seen Jay Clifford play 9, and I don't think anyone has. So if that were to happen, that would be quite interesting. That'd be interesting.
He's a good tackler.
Yeah.
And, he's a good football brain. I'd rather him than Lawton, that's for sure.
Really?
Oh, fucking oath. Well, what's he done to impress you?
Well, Kyle Lawton, the only thing Kyle Lawton has over Clifford is he used to play 9, and he still does play a bit of 9. But like you said, experimenting Clifford at 9, it can't hurt. Like, it really can't hurt. Don't see why not. I don't know. It'd be interesting what they do, because I think if Robson's out, I imagine Harrison Edwards will start at hooker like they've done in the past. And then either Jay Clifford comes on as 14 and plays a bit of hooker for maybe 20 minutes, or they go with Kyle Lawton. I'm not sure which way they'll go. The Kyle Lawton thing wouldn't surprise me, but I actually would not mind seeing Clifford play hooker. It's worth a shot. And like you said, he's a good tackler, defends fairly well. I don't mind the idea.
Yeah, I'd probably start Harrison.
Yeah, same here.
And then I'd have, even if when you want to bring Harrison back on, and left Clifford as a, in the lock.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not a bad idea. Or you can bring Harrison back on and play, in the middle, as he does a lot. So there's options there for sure. But overall, just quickly on the Cowboys-Tigers game, who would you say was our best player the other night if you had to pick a player of the game?
I think Dearden.
Yeah, Tommy Dearden. I think I'm with you.
Drinky and Bateman, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd probably go Dearden as best on ground. I'd probably throw Drinkwater in there as well. If you're going to throw Bateman in there, I'll go someone different. I'll throw in Jeremiah Nanai. But massive honourable mention to Jackson Paulo. He surprised me on the weekend. He really did. All right, now let's move on to teamless news against the Storm. So obviously, we just touched on a little bit of it before with Robson being in a little bit of doubt. So we'll see how that goes. The team is pretty much unchanged from last week, except Robson could be laid out, which means Edwards, I believe, will start at hooker. And then obviously in the reserves, you're either bringing in Jake Clifford, who's currently 18th man, or you're bringing in Kyle Lawton, who's currently 9th man. So Todd's got a big call to make there, which way he goes, because I'd be very surprised if Robson plays. With that hamstring complaint, it's going to be wet, so that probably makes it worse for his hamstring. I don't think he'll play. So we'll see how they go.
On the Clifford, like having him 18th man every week, and then you get a situation like this, to not play him, it's like, mate, if you're going to have him 18th man and you're not going to play him, like I know you're worrying about a late scratching, and like I messaged you and said, obviously Payton thinks he's good enough to fill in for whoever, because you wouldn't have him at 18th man every week.
That's right.
But you ruin his opportunities of playing for Q Cup. And then if you ain't going to play him when we've got someone out, I don't want to keep going on and on and on about my frustrations with the Clifford situation, but I just feel like he's getting hardly done by. And if you don't give the guy a go, let him go play Q Cup, mate.
Yeah, well, you're right. He hasn't played an actual game since Magic Round. Oh no, the Panthers game. So he was 18th man for the Manly game. He was 18th man for the Tigers game. We had a bye in between that, which he didn't play either. So he's had 3 weeks where he hasn't actually played a game, which is not easy to do. And like you said, we're in a situation here where Robson probably won't play this weekend, and Clifford may have to play a bit of 9, but he's been 18th man for 3 weeks, or 2 weeks. But if you count the bye week where he didn't even play Q Cup, so it's a tough one. Would you be pissed off if they went Kyle Lawton on the bench and Jake Clifford 18th man?
Oh, mate. Are you serious? You're seriously asking me that question? You don't want steam start coming out of my ears again, do you?
Also, I just want to get your opinion on this as well. How close do you think Caden Lars is to getting a debut? He's the son of Tom Leroy Lars, who used to play for Canberra. He's a young front rower. He's been in the squad for a few weeks now, and obviously next week we'll have a few out due to Origin, and we play the Dolphins up in Townsville. You think he's getting close to a debut?
I would like to hope so, but my Todd Payton crystal ball is very, very cloudy, mate, I'll tell you. I give we keep going on about this building for the future. These are the opportunities to me that you don't really want. But to me, if I'm the coach, I'm anticipating my boys are playing Origin. We got this bloke who's chomping at the bit,
Mm.
give the bloke a go.
Yeah.
To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. And
Mm.
if he's no good, he's no good, and or we unleash a great player. We get a glimpse of something that we see, and we go, well, here's another guy. We've got a headache. We don't want to lose.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to someone the other day, and I think he'll debut next week against the Dolphins. But we're going to lose Cotter next week. We're going to lose Nanai. Robson will be out anyway. So there's three. Well, obviously, there's two positions there in the forwards for next week, and obviously Robson will be out. So there is an opportunity there next week to bring him in, but I wouldn't even mind him debuting against the Storm. Just let him go out there, give him a taste of first grade. If anyone's carrying an injury or in doubt for this weekend, unleash him and just see how he goes.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
Yeah.
You got to give these young blokes a go. There's no good having an extended squad. The time that comes, and I've said this, I've sung this tune like for a long, long time. You don't want to be in a situation where these guys have never played and it's our season or finals or something like that. Everything's on the line, and then you're giving this kid a go that's never had a go, and it doesn't turn out right, and then you're all disappointed that there's all this added pressure, and the guy doesn't get to live up to expectations, and then I don't know, what do you do then? Do you give him a second chance or?
Yeah, tough one. It's a tough one. So yeah, no. Overall, I think it was a very strong side this week. Talangi and Tamalolo were very close to being named, but Todd didn't want to take any risk with them. He went, you know what? We give another week. Talangi was gonna get named because he was gonna try and prove himself to have one game and try and get back in the state of origin side, but that won't happen now. So Talangi he won't be playing Origin 2. He'll be with us next week on the wing, probably for Paulo, and Tamalolo should be back next week.
Well, to me, he in my eyes, he's got nothing to prove to be in Origin.
Murray Talangi?
Yeah.
Well, if you put him in Origin, then he hasn't played a game for 3 or 4 weeks, which is a big risk to pull up, especially for a winger. I don't know. I think they'll probably go.
If you're fit enough to play, I'd pick him.
Yeah, considering Queensland are in a situation where they need to win to level the series, they might pick him.
Is he good enough to play, mate? You're good enough to play. That's.
Be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Tamalolo back next week. That'll be a big inclusion. That'll be a really big inclusion. I was hoping that we could get him back this week, but obviously it didn't happen, so it's unlucky. Would you make any changes, Callan? Obviously, like the team is pretty much the same as last week. Would you make any late changes?
No, I'm pretty happy with what we've got. I'm not real quick on. Like obviously, I've talked about giving guys a go. Which one had to miss out for Labor to get a go?
Yeah.
It's ended up being Clifford. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
With the way Jackson Paulo played, I wouldn't be rushing Murray back. Why would you when you've got another kid who's, at the end of the day, all these guys who are stepping up, we're not going to be able to keep them all. So, like Braden Burns, like he played good, he got injured, and he's not getting another go. it's going to make it difficult for these guys who aren't getting a go, and then someone else comes in and does a good job. It's going to make it really difficult for blokes like him, who, in my eyes, played. He was one of the guys who I think he had the most meters, in those games that we lost.
Yeah, at the start of the year.
It's a bit unfortunate that he got injured when he did.
Well, I think the reason why they chose Paulo over Burns is because Burns didn't play Queensland Cup for 3 or 4 weeks due to injury. Paulo was playing Q Cup and he was fit. So Todd Payton was probably thinking, do I pick a guy who's been going well in Q Cup, or do I pick a guy who's just become available but hasn't played a game for 3 or 4 weeks? And I think he wanted to give Paulo a debut at some point, and I think last week was probably the right time to do it. And it's a good headache to have because Burns, the first 2 games, was very good. Paulo had a solid debut, so I can understand the logic to keep Paulo in and have Burns miss out. But like you said, obviously you can't keep them all, but it's good depth to have and it's good competition.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that philosophy because it's not the same philosophy for everyone.
No,
a guy gets injured, he's got to go and play Q Cup. Like you wouldn't make any of our Origin players, like Reece Robson, if he misses a few weeks or whatever, he won't have to go and get Q Cup fit again, will he? That's right. So that, like I say, if you're good enough, you're good enough.
I think there's. Hey.
No, I was just going to say, if you're good enough, you're good enough. Paulo played well. Okay, the gamble was good, but when you've got a guy like that who was playing good football, and if he's fit, because like any other thing, you prove your fitness. You got to go and do fitness tests. You got to pass a beep test. You got to do all that bullshit. If you're fit enough, you get to play.
I think there's certain players where they probably, I guess, I don't know what the right word is. Probably special privileges. If they're good, they come straight in no matter what. And there's others that may have to play cup for a week and then come in. But there's definitely I think contracts have a lot to do with that as well. I think they do.
And I think it's Todd Payton's got his favourites, mate. That's what I believe.
Probably. He probably does. I think everyone's got their favourites at every club as well. Like, I'm sure there's other clubs in the comp that have coaches have their favourites, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just sometimes you want to see someone get an opportunity.
Yeah, well, like I say, Clifford played good. He had to miss out the start of the year to give the chance to someone else.
Yeah.
To me, as soon as he was fit, he should have been back. If a guy's that the last game he played and he was a standout, I think the guy should get his spot back. That's my opinion. That's
fair
the way
enough.
I see it.
Fair enough. On to some great news that we learned today. I heard about this on Sunday morning. Someone told me this. Viliami Vialia and Zach Labert re-sign until the end of 2027. I think this is great news. The 2 young centers that we've got coming through, they are our centers at the moment, and they probably are long-term as well. I think they both deserve this, and I'm glad we were able to retain both these guys.
Yeah, so am I. I did say I'd like Vialia to miss out for Labor a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just because, I wouldn't drop any of them right away because, they're both in the team at the moment. I know Labor didn't have the best game on the weekend, but I certainly wouldn't be in a hurry to give him the arse, that's for sure.
No, and look, he's only 2 or 3 games in from injury, back from injury, so you got to give him that, I guess. If he has another game like he did against the Tigers, and his position could be under the pump a little bit because Braden Burns is pushing very hard to get back in the team. So is Murray Talangi when he comes back from injury. So there's a few guys chopping at the bit. But I'm glad both of these guys re-signed. Vialia gets a lot of hate online from our fan base, which I'm not happy about. I have defended Vialia every single week this season. I know, look, when he has his bad games, he has his bad games, and I'll definitely let you know when he has a bad game. I think I said it on the podcast the other week when he didn't have a great game. That's just how it goes. But I'm happy he re-signed. I'm happy we've got him for a few more years, and hopefully he keeps going well.
Yeah, well, it'd be very disappointing if, we're celebrating today that they've re-signed and then next week we want to drop them, To me, that's ludicrous.
That is ludicrous. Absolutely.
Because I'm very staunch on this. The Jeremiah Nanai dropping, what we was it all his fault? Game 1? No. Without him, we got flogged game 2. And I know we had an argument last time. You were sort of saying that Peyton masterstroke is why he's playing as good as he is, and I think that's absolute rubbish. He's a genuine good player. You couldn't say he's a good player because he got dropped. No one else needed to be dropped, and they come good. Because we read those stats, game 1 and 2, the whole team was terrible. Let's be honest.
I don't want to get into it, but I will say as well, if you look at Jeremiah Nanai's stats the last few weeks, he's still missing 3 to 5 tackles a game. But because his energy's been good in defense and his attack has been unreal, it keeps him in the team. But he's had more missed tackles the last 3 or 4 weeks than he had the first couple rounds when he was dropped.
Yeah, well, he didn't miss that many tackles game 1.
No,
he didn't. Like we were talking about it, his meters were low.
Yeah, that's the one.
That wasn't the problem.
I'll say that Neno has always had low run meters. Like, he's never been the sort of back row where he'll have 150 run meters. He's always been around 80, 90 run meters a game anyway.
Yeah, but to me, he's a guy that'll score tries.
Yeah.
He's a guy that'll get the ball back on a kickoff. He's a guy he'll make a difference in your team. He was the best player in the Queensland squad.
He was definitely in the top 3 for Queensland.
You were saying you wouldn't have picked him. I never would have left him out, and to me, he was the best player on the field.
I think I had him in my team, but I think I said if you had told me at round 6, round 5, he would have been in the team, I would have said no way. But then his form obviously went crazy and he got back in great form. But you're right. He was easily one of the best for Queensland the other night. Well, game 1, easily one of the best. But with Nanai, he's basically an extra outside back when we're on the attack because the bloke scores tries like a friggin' centre. He's insane.
Yeah, he's got good ball skills. He can break tackles. He runs good lines.
He can jump over blokes.
This is the way I choose a side. You might not agree with me because I'll say a word that a lot of people won't agree with, reputation. I know that watching him over the years that I've watched him, that he might be one game away from his best. from week to week, a guy like him with the potential he's got, how good he is, like that's why I was dirty on him getting dropped, because I know how good he is.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'll tell you this, and you may agree with this or you might not, but I believe right now, because we're pretty much at the halfway mark of the NRL season. I genuinely believe right now, if you were ranking the top 5 second rowers in the game, Jeremiah Nanai would be in the top 5. He's playing incredible footy at the moment.
yeah, I'll agree with that.
I think he's in the top 5. I think Hudson Young's probably the form back rower, but I don't think Jeremiah Nanai's far behind.
Well, skill set for what he can do, like what we just mentioned,
Yeah.
to me, I'd have him way ahead of Hudson Young.
Yeah, no, fair
for
enough.
the skills that he can do. Not many second rowers can do that shit.
No, he's unbelievable. His skill set might be the best. Like, he's insane. Now, this weekend, he takes on Eli Katoa from the Storm, who was second rower of the year last year and has been pretty good himself. So, and to be honest, Katoa plays similar to Nanai in a way. So it's going to be a hell of a clash between those two on Friday night.
That's the guy that they look a little bit alike too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Munster said he's like Nanai.
Yeah, he's similar. He's very similar.
Yeah.
They're both good at catching the bombs from the crossfield kicks. They both run really good lines. Katoa plays with Jerome Hughes, so it's going to be a really good battle. I'm looking forward to seeing who actually plays better out of those two, because Katoa was back rower of the year last year, and Jeremiah Nanai at the moment is right up there as well. So it's going to be a great clash.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that battle.
I'm really looking forward to it. Moving on to some rumours, Callan. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Sandon Smith from the Roosters and Corey Pakes from the Broncos are rumoured to sign with us for 2026. Now, I know we've been linked to every hooker in the competition, but we are the favourites to sign Sandon Smith on the Roosters, who's a young little halfback, but can also play hooker. He's a bit versatile. And Corey Pakes is a hooker from the Broncos. And I just want to get your thoughts on those rumours. Would you be happy if we got both of these guys, or do you think we only just need one of them?
I think we only need one. I'd go with Sandon Smith.
Yeah.
I think they've... Yeah. I know the Roosters aren't on the top of the table or anything, but I think with the losses of players I'm talking about, not losses of games, but losses of the players that he's had to be, thrown into the deep end, so to speak, him and another rookie. They dropped Townsend because he wasn't playing good footy. He's nailing conversions from out on the sidelines. He's a pretty crafty little player.
I think I would probably prefer Sandon as well, just because he can play in the halves and at dummy half. He can play both. Corey Pakes is only a hooker, really. And we do need a hooker because we're losing Robson at the end of the year. And I know we've been linked to Reid Marnie as well from the Bulldogs. We've been linked to that young Tigers number 14, Talon De Silva. We've been linked to a lot of hookers. But Sandon Smith is also a goal kick. He's also a goal kick option too.
Didn't Payton say that they were interested in Reid Marnie?
Yeah, so they were asking him if he's interested, and Todd said, not this year, but for next year, definitely.
I know every comment that I read, I think probably 1 out of 20 comments was positive for Reid.
Yeah. He does,
I'd
he
I'd
does
have him
push it.
in. Hey,
He does push the boundaries, that's for sure.
I'd have him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you would?
Bloody oath.
I'm a little bit on the fence with the Reed Marnie one. I don't know. I'm sort of on the fence. Like, I know what he can bring, and I also know what he can bring, which can be bad. So there's good and bad about it. But in saying that, when we signed Bateman, literally everybody was against it, and everyone thought he was going to be a dirty grub, and everyone was going to hate him. But he's actually been it's been pretty solid, to be honest. And I'm glad we got Bateman. So I don't know, Bateman and Reed Marnie in the same team. Hopefully our discipline doesn't go from good to bad. So it'll be interesting to
Well,
see what happens there.
You back the coach if you think he can improve players. What's to say? Because like I wouldn't be getting that smart ass out of him like that.
Yeah.
Getting in everyone's face. That's I love that about him. But get the grubby shit out, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think he's more of a smart ass than a grub, to be honest, in my opinion.
Probably. I'm sort of on the fence with it. Like, if we sign him tomorrow and it gets announced, then all right, I'll be on board and I'll back it. But I will keep in the back of my mind. I know some of the dumb shit he can do. So, like, I'm sort of on the fence. But we'll see. We'll see what.
That Broncos, what's his name? Josh, the
Josh.
grub. I'm sure his first name is Josh.
Oh, I think he's retired now. Josh Maguire.
Josh Maguire. Yeah, he was an absolute disappointment, that bloke, and he was a grub out and out, mate, out and out grub.
When we signed him, I knew it was going to be a risky signing because he is a grub. But when he came to us, I think he had 2 good games with us, and everything else was a disaster.
And I'm not sorry to say this, I met him in person, and he's an arsehole.
Oh shit!
So I'm glad he didn't last.
Oh well, that's just
sorry,
part of the business.
Any of his family or that watching, but you probably agree with me anyway.
All right. Now, this is a topic that we were talking about in the green room. So the thing is, Callan, we don't seem to have a problem with scoring points. I don't have any concern of our attack. We've been scoring points a lot lately, like 5 tries a game, whatever it is, 4 tries a game. But our biggest problem is it's our defense. And one week we might concede 18 points, which isn't too bad. But then the next week we'll concede 28, 30 points, and far out. It's frustrating because we know how much potential there is in the team, but I guess the question is, why is the defense so inconsistent?
Well, I've been reading about the great coaches, Meninga going to the Bears. Billy Moore was talking about who you get beside you is so important. Meninga's reign, Queensland and Australia, he knew to get good people around him. Now, since we've lost Young, we had that first good year, and I think it seemed to go when he left. So to me, that's something you got to know is your limitations, what you lack, and who you need to bring in to fix these things up. And to me, that is something Payton has not done since, even when we were in the top 8, defence was still pretty ordinary. And that's we narrowly beat Knights, and then we got done by Cronulla.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, if you can't fix something on your own, Well, like if you can't fix something at your home, you get a tradesman in. You get someone who knows what they're doing to fix it. And to me, in this situation, if you can't fix it on your own or with what you've got, it's time to get someone in who is a good defensive, a good assistant coach.
Yeah, well, you might be right about that. In 2022, when we surprised everybody and finished in the top four, that year, our defense was outstanding. And it was part of the reason why we came top four and almost made the grand final, should have made the grand final, ripped off in that prelim. But ever since then, like you said, ever since Dean Young left, our defense has not been the same. And I think it's a couple of things. I think it's lack of trust with everyone on the same team. Like maybe combinations still just like obviously attack wise is no problem, but defensively they're just not trusting each other enough, and it needs to be addressed. I think Todd's probably. I mean, I could be wrong about this. Todd's probably having sleepless nights. He's probably waking up at 2 a.m. sweating because of the defense problem. He'd be sitting there going, you know what? Our attack is great. We don't have a problem with attack. And then he'll wake up sweating because like, oh no, the defense. We conceded 30 points here. We conceded 26 points there. It must be driving him insane, and it must be like obviously we have a defensive coach and we have an attack coach, but I don't want to blame it all on the defensive coach, but that's the job, isn't it?
Well,
defensive coach.
If you got a plumber in and your hose is still leaked, would you get the plumber to come back?
No.
It's as simple as that. That's the way I look at life. If you get someone to fix something and it's not fixed right, well, you get someone else.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And it's everything about defense is like, they don't trust each other. Well, why? That's what you do as you're teaching these blokes how to tackle, how to communicate, how to number up. It's all under 12 shit, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I understand we have like a couple of new combinations that are only 13 weeks new into the year, but they should be good by now. The combinations should be right. I should be ready to go. Like, there's not really any excuses anymore. Everyone's just got to work harder and get better at it, I reckon. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's definitely – it's got to be a tactic thing because every coach has got their way of defending. So someone might be standing on the 10-meter line and another player might be standing in a different position. Maybe the way they're positioned isn't the right way. Maybe they need to be more in or more out with the way they defend and the way they go about it. I'm not exactly sure, but if we're going to be any threat this year to do anything, this is the only part of our game that needs work. Everything else is good. But defense is just so inconsistent.
Yeah, well, whatever that system is, get rid of it.
Yeah.
What I got taught in under 10s was you all move up in a line.
Yeah.
And I've heard of the shuffle, you go around them. My belief in the best systems are whether you go 100 mile an hour or you walk up. Obviously not an NRL standard, but I'm just using an example. You all move as one. And then when the ball shifts, well, you shuffle, you move, you bring them across. So the numbers, you read the numbers. Everyone knows everyone's name. When I'm playing Oz tag or whatever, I'll say if something's distinctive about that person, colour hair, he's got a cap on or whatever, I've got old mate. I've got the cap. I've got the bloke with the beard. I've got this fella. Everyone knows each other's name. So they call out, I've got so-and-so. You back your mate when he says, I've got Nick. So someone take Callum. It's that simple. It's not like, oh, no, I don't trust that you're going to get Nick. So I'm going to come in and help you.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well, fingers crossed that, in 6 weeks' time from now, when we have a look at it, we'll see how much the defense improved. Hopefully it gets better. And hopefully it starts this weekend where Melbourne don't score many points and we win. So,
well, maybe because some of the things that we've said that have happened, maybe we get a call up and they go, look, can you guys come in? we need your input. We're going to put you on the payroll. You get to come to Vegas for free.
I'd love that. Wouldn't that be good? Mate, if this comes true, defense improves this week and we win, we'll have to go up to Cowboys training with Todd and we'll have to tell them our opinion on stuff, and it'll just the team will keep winning.
Well, the only person that I'm game to say anything to is I'll go and have a quiet chat to Harrison, because I've been having good yaks with him about shit. And like I said to him, I wouldn't be game to tell anyone else my opinion, because I wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, to be honest. Yeah. And then once you get that relationship with someone, like, there's two ways to be remembered: doing something good or doing something bad. Yeah. And I don't want to be remembered for doing something bad. Here comes that arsehole that comes and tells us how to play football.
Oh, no, I don't blame you. All right. Let's get into some tips, and then we'll get to the Storm Cowboys prediction and a couple of fan questions and whatnot. All right, so tomorrow night's game, Newcastle Knights versus Manly Seagulls from Newcastle. Who do you reckon will win this one?
Oh, you'd have to say Manly, like, surely.
I'm going to go Manly.
The way things are going, it's so you don't know what's going to happen. But I'll go Manly. Cherry Evans seems to have a bee in his bonnet, and he's finally decided to start playing football. So I'll go Manly. I'm sort of hoping that they lose, because I want Dearden to go to 7 for Queensland. Yeah. But yeah, I'll go. If I'm got to put my car on it, I'll pick Manly.
Yeah, I think Manly win well. That should be too good. Dolphins versus Dragons from Suncorp Stadium.
I'm going to go the Dolphins.
I'll go the Dragons, but who the hell knows in that game? That could be a 50-50 game. Saturday from Shark Park in Cronulla, Sharks versus Warriors.
I'll go Warriors.
I'll go the Sharks just because it's in Cronulla. I'll go the Sharks. Saturday night at Suncorp Stadium, Broncos Titans.
That's another. I'll go the Broncos. Surely they got to bounce back.
I generally hope both teams lose. I don't give a shit who wins, but I'll go Broncos. Sunday afternoon from Canberra, the Raiders and the Rabbitohs.
I'll go Raiders.
I think you got to go Raiders on form, but they are looking a bit tired. I think they get their first bye next week. So, yeah, Raiders for me. Tigers and the Panthers on Sunday at CommBank.
Or you'd have to say Panthers.
Panthers, surely.
They seem to be getting back to their form. But after, you just don't know. But I'll tip the Panthers, but you just don't know.
Yeah, I'll go the Panthers in that one. And then on Monday, the public holiday, Bulldogs versus Eels from Accor Stadium.
Well, another one, no brainer. You'd think Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs win. Bulldogs win well. They should be far too good there. All right. Storm versus Cowboys. Obviously, we'll both be there on Friday night. Looking forward to it. From Amy Park. Predictions, Callan. Who's going to score the first try and how much are the Cowboys going to win?
I'll go Nanai 32-26.
32-26. Jeremiah and Nanai first try. 32-26 sounds about right. That's a typical Cowboys game at the moment. Just score 32 but concede 26. That is just a typical Cowboys game. I will say, I'll probably go a little bit similar. I'll go 26-20 Cowboys. 26-20. First try scorer, I will go Viliami Vialea, just extended. I'll back him to score the first try. Why not? Why not? All right. Now, actually, before we go, we'll get to the fan questions in a minute. But so instead of blind ranking players this week, we're going to blind rank a couple of Cowboys games just randomly. So we'll go through it. I'll ask you 5 random Cowboys games, and you can rank them in any order you want. Hopefully, you get a good list here. I won't include the grand final.
I was going to say
I won't include.
That'd just be cheating, I reckon.
Yeah. I won't include the grand final. All right, the first one. The 2017 elimination final, Sharks and the Cowboys.
I'll go 3.
3? All right, the next one. The 2015 preliminary final where we beat the Storm in Melbourne.
I'll go 2.
2? All right. The next one. The 2004 first finals game where we beat the Bulldogs in Sydney.
Well, that's one of my favourites, so I'm going to go 1.
Yep. Okay. I like it. The next one. 2007 semi-final where we beat the Warriors. I think it was 43-6 or something.
Go 4.
4. And the last one, which will be number 5 ranked, the 2012 elimination final where we beat the Broncos in Townsville.
Yeah, I forgot about that game. That was the extra time game, wasn't it?
No. That was the one where we won. I think it was 33-20 or something.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, well, I'm not that disappointed because that probably be up there with another one of my favourite games, where we went into extra time at home. I was there that game. Yeah. 5 it is. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
All right, so your list in order. The 2012 elimination final where we beat Brisbane. Number 4 you had was the 2007 semi-final where we flogged the Warriors. Number 3, the 2017 elimination final where we beat the Sharks at Allianz. Number 2, the 2015 prelim final down there in Melbourne. And number 1 for you, the 2004 qualifying final where we beat the Bulldogs at a full stadium, but no one gave us a chance.
Yeah. And Nathan Fiend was playing.
Yeah, he was a halfback, wasn't he?
Yeah. That was my heartstrings were like I was nearly going to jump in my car and drive to Townsville just to be amongst
everyone
the fans celebrating. Like I was almost crying. Like it was the turnaround that year, that that's when we started to be a contender, and we really started to, except for 2006 when Broncos won the grand final, I think we've nearly knocked them out. The one where they made the grand final, obviously not that year, but nearly every year since that day, we've eliminated the Broncos. If we've played them, we've eliminated.
Yeah. So I can tell you this because I know it off heart. The Broncos have only beaten us in the finals once. That was in 2015 in the first week of the finals, the qualifying final, second versus third. They beat us 16-12. But every time we played Brisbane in a elimination sudden death game or a semi-final, we have beaten them. They've never eliminated us from the finals, which is a good stat.
Yeah.
Really good stat.
They obviously, when they won 2006, so we didn't meet them that year, did we? Or
we came ninth that year.
Oh, there you go. That's probably
we missed
why
the finals by, I think it was 1 point.
Yeah. Bulldogs didn't do us any favours that year.
It was disappointing because if you go back to 2006, well, I think we won our first 6 games, and we end up missing the 8. So disappointing. All right, couple of fan questions, and we're going to get on out of here. Question here from Jake. Jake from Ingham. That's near Townsville, isn't it? Ingham. Jake wants to know, when Ezra Mann plays in Townsville round 26, the Cowboys' last game, will you boo him? Yes.
I boo everyone. Like, I'm not going to boo him because of what happened to him. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of person. But
yeah,
if it's a situation, like, we all boo. You know, when the team runs out, we boo them. Yeah. That's just what we do.
We all boo him, mate.
He's not Greg Inglis. Put it that way. In my book, he gets a boo no matter what he does. When he puts his socks on, he gets a boo from me.
Who's this? Inglis?
Greg Inglis.
Really?
Sorry, fucking Latrell Mitchell. Fucking.
Oh, Latrell.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I know you like him.
You hate him, mate.
You like him, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's a good player, but he can be, he can push boundaries a bit. All right. Jack Wovers. Shout out to Jack Wovers. I know he watches the podcast. He's in one of the group chats with us on Instagram there. Which hooker would you prefer the Cowboys to sign? Reed Marnie or Jacob Little? That's a tough one. I'd go Jacob Little.
I'd go Reed Marnie.
I'd probably prefer Little because he's younger and I think he can offer more. But
who's he play for?
He's the one for the Dragons who comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Is that number 14?
Hey, Bulldogs are on top of the ladder.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's fair enough. Here we go. Question for Callan from Mark. Mark wants to know, what are your most hated teams?
Every year? Not so much this year because they're on the bottom of the table, but pretty much Penrith, Roosters, and the Storm.
Yeah. Fair enough. If I had to name 3 that I hate the Broncos, I hate the Titans, and I hate the Sharks. I can't stand the Sharks. I really hate them. I'm actually starting to really hate the Roosters. They piss me off a lot. So,
what's your gripe with the Titans?
The Titans?
Yeah.
Never liked them. I actually had a family member that used to work for them, and just before COVID happened, well, actually it was during COVID, they sacked her because they had to get rid of staff because everyone was going broke, and she had been there for a long time, and they treated her like shit and got rid of her. It was a disgrace, to be honest. So ever since that happened, fuck them, to be honest. Pretty much a disgrace. Broncos for obvious reasons. Sharks, obvious reasons. Roosters, I'm just sick of their shit. Signing every player they can. I don't know. I'm sick of the Roosters. I'm starting to get real sick of them.
For me, like, because management changes.
Yeah,
for me, it's the nature of the players.
Yeah.
But I find Penrith to be so arrogant. The Broncos have had that in the past. The Roosters have got a dead set arrogance about them. Like, even their own fans don't turn up to their games. And who else did I? Storm. And Storm have got that same. That's probably why they've got a winning culture, because of that arrogance. But the way that they carry on and the way they celebrate, and like they've just, like Roosters this year, not so much. So my hatred hasn't been as high for them this year. But like what you said, they've always gotten everyone's good player, and then like this year with what's the winger's name? The
Dominic Young.
Dominic, yeah. They've brought him back, but he was offside with them because he was out of form. Brandon Smith, they just dropped him like a bag of shit.
Yeah, he's gone to South, yeah.
Well, when Sonny Bill was up for grabs, I thought, and that's why I don't like Sonny Bill. If you got any character about you, go and play for the Warriors.
Yeah, well, I remember. Well, if you look at the Dominic Young one, he's apparently going to Newcastle next week.
Oh, true. Well, they flipped that quick.
Yeah, so I think he's going there next week. So crazy.
Well, that even just reinforces me dislike to him. He'll carry on about, no, we don't want to let him go. We want, we want money or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
And one of my mates is a big supporter of him, and we've always had a big rivalry when our teams play each other.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, that might wrap things up, I reckon. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you all for watching. It's been a great show tonight.
No comments from me mates. I reckon they were going to be a smarter.
I haven't seen any. All right. We're going to wrap things up, guys. Thanks for watching. Me and Callan will be in Melbourne tomorrow and obviously at the game Friday. So if you happen to see us, don't be afraid to come say hello and we can take a picture with you. Don't be afraid to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Check out Callan's channel if you haven't already. The link to his channel was in the description box down below. We're out of here. And see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.